Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another modern video. Today we are going to be playing Brian M's Saga Titan deck. There is a lot going on here. So in case you're not familiar with the general premise, this modern deck list seeks to put Primeval Titan in play and win with its lands. And it cheats on land drops in a couple of different ways. I have these split in two columns right now, but this deck plays a whopping 32 lands. For context, a lot of land heavy decks might be on something like, say, 23. That's often, where a lot of like death and taxes-esque decks end up in a legacy. So this is an astounding number of lands. And you cheat on extra land drops via Arboreal Grazer, Explore, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, an asterisk on that card because we're coming back to that again in a second, as well as Azusa Lost But Seeking. And then once you've made these land drops, you put Primeval Titan into play, and you get some sort of land that actually serves as a finisher. Frequently, that is going to be Valakut, and you get to start lightning bolting things as long as you control a Dryad. Oh, we are not a Field of the Dead deck this time. Okay. There's a lot of wiggle room for like what lands you can use to kill people. So one of the common combos here is that you get a Slayer's Stronghold to give a creature +2/+0 Vigilance and Haste. And you can also end up doing things like Sunhome to turn your creatures into double strikers. So because this deck list has Urza Saga as additional finishers, you maybe don't need something like Field of the Dead to just like absolutely go wide of what your opponent is doing. Like between Urza Saga and Valakut, as well as just like putting a Primeval Titan into play, we should in theory have enough win conditions. Now, this deck list is opting to play a Karn the Great Creator package. Mycos and Thladdos, I believe, is banned in Modern, so we don't get access to that. But we can just use it to go and get a nice fatty out of our sideboard. We can use it for some mana denial, just like we can in Legacy, or we can get some utility stuff. It seems a little weird to play Ensnaring Bridge in your like Primeval Titan deck, but if you're to the point where like you've locked your opponent out of the game with an Ensnaring Bridge, you can eventually win with a Valakut. That's not going to be that big of a deal. Now, Urza Saga here just isn't all about the constructs. The primary idea, in fact, is that you get to do cool things with Amulet of Vigor. Whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped under your control, untap it. The idea is to abuse our Karoo lands with these. These normally enter the battlefield tapped, and if they are effectively entering the battlefield untapped, then all of a sudden these are lands that for a turn give you a mana boost. And if you have multiple amulets so that these trigger multiple times, you can kind of do like a tap, untap sort of thing and get to a Primeval Titan very quickly. I think this whole Karn the Great Creator package is kind of innovative. I am obviously not a Modern expert. I play a few leagues here and there, but I don't study the format and watch Modern content or anything. But I think this is kind of innovative. One thing I will say is that I'm not sure if this is going to be better than doing the things that a lot of the new, what is the name of this archetype? Just absolute brain fart. These new like Primeval Titan decks are doing is that they're throwing Cultivator Colossus in there, which is a card from Crimson Vow. Power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Ignore that part, that's not important. When it enters the battlefield, though, you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat the process. In your 32 land deck, you can absolutely just churn through a huge amulet. That's what they call this, amulet. All right. Anyway, you can just churn through an absolutely huge number of cards, get a ton of lands in play, trigger a bunch of things like your Valakuts and your bounce lands and your amulets a bunch of times, and absolutely go ham. I was on the wrong side of that thing the other day, and let me tell you, it was beautiful. So I'm not sure if like using slots on Karn is better than using slots on this. I am not going to adjust this deck list at all because I do not know this archetype. I have never played like one of these amulet decks at all. Like I've played Scapeshift before. I've done some similar things, but I have not played this exact strategy. On that note, I am definitely going to make mistakes today. Just like full disclosure, I absolutely will like missequence some of these things. It's going to happen. I'll be figuring out everything live. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say here. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for legacy, modern, and vintage content. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before we begin. It's one of the easiest ways to support my content for free. If you end up wanting to try out this or get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is available in the video description. Let's battle. Okay. Sort of awkwardly, I have triple Karoo land in my opener here. How do I feel about this? Like, it's awkward. Like, Summoner's Pact is a Primeval Titan. I don't have amulets to make these things enter untapped. I can't really cast this Explore super easily. I think I just mulligan this hand. All right, how about this second one? I have an amulet this time. Probably means this is a keep. Yeah, that probably means this is a keep. I think I'm just gonna pitch this Karn here. I guess I can just play a tapped breeding. Shit. Well, I'm gonna take this one slow, apparently. Yep, just absolutely should have played the amulet on one. Okay, Summoner's Pact is cool. I set myself back like so much. Hey, Livy. So I'll cast my amulet. I think I'll just play one of my lands. Guess I can always yield to this. Oh wait, no, I can't always yield to that. Yeah, let's just play that out. Alright, you're fetching. Okay, not taking any damage here. I don't really know what my opponent is playing yet. Okay, that's fine. Alright. Okay. It may be some sort of Jund or Jund adjacent thing. That's not probably too big of a deal. Alright. Let's make some mana. I'll just go ahead and put this in play. Do this. The next turn, I'll use Boros Garrison to make a bunch of extra mana. And then I'll do a Primeval Titan. I'll have 4 Boros Garrison, untap it. That's 6. Okay. That's fine. My Valakut is not currently turned on. I don't know how big of a deal that actually is. Okay, sure. Alright, Scavenging Ooze, I don't think I care about that. Oh, or I could just, like, draw a Primeval Titan. Sure. How much does this cost to activate? 4. Alright. Play this. Do the amulet thing. The amulet untaps this land. Make some mana with it. Oh, I actually don't have green to activate this. Okay. I guess I just, like, return the bounce land. I cast this Primeval Titan. Yes, I'll use this ability. I wonder if I had a, like, Summoner's Pact for Dryad line that was just better. So I have my Boros Garrison in play, so I can't just, like, get the stuff that gives this haste and get in there immediately, huh? That's awkward. I guess I'll get, like, the... Oh, wait, hold on. I can get Slayer's Stronghold and a green bounce land. And then I guess I can yield to this. Alright. So then I'll go ahead and make 3 mana. Return some land back to my hand. Summoner's Pact. Grab a Dryad. Play a Dryad. Play a Boros Garrison. I'll use this to kill the Scavenging Ooze. Yes. I'll bounce some land with Boros Garrison. I guess I'll just make it like the Slayer Stronghold. And I'm out of land drops. Okay. I think I had better sequencing that turn by quite a bit. I'll be better by the end of the league. I've just never played this before. Like, I'm obviously going very slowly here. I don't know what I'm doing. So my opponent's got a lot of bodies to worry about. Okay, yeah, my opponent's conceded. I just, like, pay for Summoner's Pact on my turn. I do some other little stuff. I get a bunch of lands. Valakut probably just kills my opponent if my opponent can't answer the Triad. And then I, like, have the Teleria West in hand, and I can transmute for another Summoner's Pact to just kind of, like, keep going. That's cool. I don't know that I'm really gonna sideboard much with this deck, like, at all. I don't know that this Karn stuff is gonna be super good here. Karn can wish for a Pithing Needle for run in 6, and if my opponent has, like, Recursive Ghost Quarters or something, that's something that can matter. But I think if my opponent plays decently beefy-sized creatures like Tarmogoyf, Endurance, Scavenging Ooze, that sort of stuff, I'm just not going to be able to protect the Karn. What would I do if I cut the Karn package? I cut these 3 cards, I would just, like, play a Worm Coil, play an Endurance, play a Bojuka Bog. Yeah, I think between, like, Lightning Bolts and large-ish creatures on the other side of the battlefield, I'm not going to be super good at taking this stuff down. I think I'm just going to board in a few cards here. Okay. So I can play a Saga on 1 to work towards an Amulet. This is sort of an awkward hand. Do I like this? I don't really like this. I'm on the draw, though. I guess I'll keep it. Like, the sequencing to me just feels a little bit awkward. I don't know. So maybe I just go Urza Saga 1, Breeding Pool, Explore on 2. Yeah, maybe it's okay. Just not. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Ragavan. Alright, so let's stay with Saga on 1. And work towards doing some cool things with Dryad in the not-too-distant future. I go to 18. Okay, my opponent junked an Urza Saga. That's fine. Alright, so my opponent's using their treasure for a run in 6. I mean, it's pretty good when I can't really attack and pressure it. Sure. What else is there? Oh. If my opponent's got that sort of stuff, there might be, like, Blood Moons and stuff in here. Alright. So, let's rock with Breeding Pool. I think I just cast the Explorer here, because if I hit a green source, I also get to Arboreal Grazer. Alright, I hit an Amulet. That probably means next turn's real gross. Let's go Radiant Fountain, because that enters untapped. Play an Amulet of Vigor. The next turn, I float a mana with Urza Saga. I have 3 starting mana. I float a mana. I get an Amulet. I play a Simic Growth Chamber. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm absolutely going ham next turn. Would you like to cast the Summoner's Pact? I would be fine with it. Yeah, I'm going to play the Simic Growth Chamber an unhealthy number of times. Yeah, this is one of those things where it is hard to do the math of what I need to do while I'm also recording. So I think I am probably just going to click on a bunch of cards and hope that it kills my opponent. I believe I'm going to be able to play Dryad and then Primeval Titan pretty easily. Alright, what do you have here? Pillage. Okay. That blows me. Liquid Metal Coating just straight up in the deck? Sure. Alright. Let's start doing stuff. 1, 2. Play Simic Growth Chamber. Yield to the untap, I think. Float my mana with this. Bounce Simic Growth Chamber. Play an Arboreal Grazer. Put Simic Growth Chamber back into play. Then I'll untap it, and I'll float my mana. That's up to 5 mana. Return it again. Play Arboreal Grazer. And I will repeat the process of putting Simic Growth Chamber in here, untapping it with Amulet, doing this thing. So this is now 6 mana. I'll return this to my hand. 3, 4, 5, 6. I will play Primeval Titan. Alright, good stuff. Absolutely, I will use the ability. I just get double bounce land. Like this is the part of the deck that I don't really know. Oh, I can just get Slayer's Stronghold plus Boros Garrison here. Okay. Put that here. These here. I untap these lands. Player's Stronghold activated on Primeval Titan. Now it's hasty. Just like bounce my Radiant Fountain here, I think. Okay. We'll go to combat. I think I just dome my opponent. I don't think I super care about this Renin 6 right now. I'll hit them. I will use this ability, yes. What do I want? If I get 3 mana, I can play a Dryad and then put a Valakut into play at the end of this turn. So I'll just get something that produces green and another bounce land, I guess. Okay. I'll untap those things. I'll just like return a Slayer's Stronghold to my hand. So this hits my opponent down to 7. Then I'll use 3 mana to play a Dryad. I get an additional land drop here. I will play the Valakut and prepare myself for the future. Alright, that was turn 3. So I've got Dryad, which will potentially just kill my opponent next turn. I have Primeval Titan, which will also just potentially kill my opponent. Yeah, so I fucked up a lot of things there and, like, didn't know my sequencing, and I was still just, like, very obviously doing something that was insanely powerful. Alright, round 2, I don't think this hand actually does anything. Like, I can use it to get an untapper. Good luck to you, too. But I don't think this goes anywhere. Like, I can dump lands into play, but I have no payoff or anything. This hand is almost certainly better. A little awkward. I'm gonna keep this. I think I'll just get rid of the Grazer. All right. I think I'm just gonna play. Oh, I don't really need to go as fast as possible here. I think I'm just gonna go Urza Saga tapped, or sorry, like Urza Saga past the turn. Turn 2, this castle will enter tapped, and I won't explore immediately. I think I'm okay with that. And then I start trying to go ham a little bit later. All right. So, this is that Yawgmoth pile that I played against once previously. So it seeks to use the 4 mana Yawgmoth, sacrifice stuff, shrink the opposing creatures, draw some cards, and kind of try to go ham that way. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Also fine. Yeah, I feel like I am doing the much more unfair thing here. Alright. So I will float my mana. I have an amulet. I'll do my thing. We'll make my land drop. The amulet will untap this. And then I will just bounce this back to my hand. Guess I can start on Explore instead. I'll explore. Play a Celestia Sanctuary. Untap it. Retap it. Bounce it back to hand. Play an Arboreal Grazer. And repeat the process. This deck is insane. Bounce this. Now I'm at 5 mana, so I'm not to Titan yet. I'll play Dryad. Now I get an extra land drop. That will only get me back up to 4. So I guess I'll just play a quote-unquote real land here. Call it a turn. And then I have Primeval Titan next turn. Assuming my stuff's still alive, like Yawgmoth is something that can happen this turn. Okay. Is that a spirit? Oh, that's Wall of Roots mana. Wonder if there was a way for me to activate the castle. Eldritch Evolution. Okay, sure. So you get like a pseudo birthing pod effect. Oh, right. That's gonna blow up my Dryad. Okay. Cute. I can yield to that. I lose my creature. Neither one of these is attacking now, though. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and fetch some green land here. Or the breeding pool. Right. Yes, I will untap my breeding pool. Okay. So this is 4 to activate. So I don't actually have it this turn. I'll have it next turn. Guess I need to play a Sanctuary this turn. Bounce this. Because then I have the green. Actually activate the card that I want to activate. Wait, that's not actually true, is it? Yeah, without any additional land drops here. I'm kind of floundering a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to be 1 mana short next turn of doing it again. Do I just need to Summoner's Pact for an idiot and make some more land drops? Hope not. Yeah, I was not expecting Grist to come off of Eldritch Evolution. That was not in what I accounted for. I am still hoping to just use this Summoner's Pact to get a Primeval Titan, but maybe that's just greedy on my end and I need to just use it to make land drops normally. Okay. Now that gets Yawgmoth, which is potentially a problem for me. Not immediately a problem. Oh, what is this? Court of Calling? Yeah, that's a Court of Calling. I assume this is now a problem. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So every time my opponent sacrifices a creature, I now get drained for 1. That's a lot. And this also like draws my opponent's cards. Like I'm doing the more unfair thing here, but I kind of stumbled after my Dryad died. Wonder if I could have. Well, I'm sure I could have played this game better. I just don't know what I needed to be doing in order to play towards my winning lines. Like this is a little rough. It's so much. Oh wait, hold on. This just kills me. I haven't been paying attention to what my opponent's doing, but this is an infinite combo. So Yawgmoth is sacrificing a young wolf to put a counter on the other young wolf, so that they can. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right. Yeah, I was just kind of like talking and not actually looking at what my opponent was doing, but this kills me. I'm gonna go ahead and concede to that. GG's. Harden for Pithing Needle is respectable. Like that just shuts off Yawgmoth and or Grist. I think I'll keep the Karns in. Endurance is okay just to have as a body that sits in the way of what my opponent's doing. I don't know. Like I just stumbled and didn't draw another enabler after my Dryad got removed. I think I'm just gonna resubmit the game 1 deck list. Don't know that anything that my opponent is doing is not beatable by just producing a Primeval Titan. Okay. Land, Grazer, Sanctuary, bounce Forest back to hand, turn 2 Dryad, and then be out of lands. No, I can Expedition map for a bounce land. That's a little weird. Assuming I draw lands, it's quite good. I think I keep this still. I absolutely do not have a feel for mulligans yet with this deck list. Like, how broken is acceptable enough to actually just keep the hand. Because this hand is definitely, like, not objectively broken. It just, like, gets a little bit of ramp and is close to doing a broken thing. It's not quite there yet innately. Alright, so there's my 3 mana. There's my Dryad. Here's my additional land for turn. Yeah, this is going to be okay since I drew that land. So next turn I will just Expedition map for something. Yeah, sure. What do I Expedition map for? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Whatever land I play will be my 5th mana. Do I just grab a bounce land? I probably just grab a bounce land and, like, don't do an unfair thing with it. Let's crack map. Grab a green bounce land of some kind. Grab a Simic Growth Chamber. Alright, so here's my first land drop for turn. Pretty sure this is my first land drop. I'm gonna float a mana in case I'm wrong and just bounce the forest. Replay this forest. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana for next turn. I don't think I need to play an Arboreal Grazer here for any reason. So if I don't have an amulet, so my lands are going to enter tapped. I can probably do some pretty cute things with like Valakut and bounce lands and stuff. That's awkward. I guess I'm just rumbling. I'm straight up just gonna rumble with my first Primeval Titan and try to kill that Ashiok. Alright, let's send this here. The Primeval Titan attack next turn probably just kills that. Alright, so my opponent just takes the hit on the Ashiok. So, I do not get to do my search here. I have just made a 6/6 Trampler. Now, this can just fold to something like a Grist happening, unfortunately. But if it doesn't, oh buddy, we are in business. That is an Eldritch Evolution. Okay, that has gotten Yawgmoth. Okay. Alright, I have picked up Explore. I'm going to go ahead and send both of these at this Ashiok. So this trigger does not happen. Okay, my opponent is letting the Ashiok go, which is great for me. Now I will Summoner's Pact. I'll pick up a second Primeval Titan, which I will cast. Ooh, okay. So I could lose this here. Okay. So, alright. So, that's going to shrink my creature down. Okay. That's what they've got. So, yes, I will use this ability. I'll maybe grab, like, 2 Valakuts. Yeah. So let's hit you. Hit you. Guess let's just, like, spread the damage to the creatures. Always yes, always yield. I mean, my opponent will sacrifice some of their stuff. But I have, like, very easily the ability to pay for the Summoner's Pact. I have lethal, well, almost lethal damage on board, not counting the Valakuts either. Okay, and there's the concession. So I know about Ashiok now, but that's a Planeswalker. I'm not super good at answering that permanent type. I could play something like an EE to help sweep early creatures out of play to make it less likely that I just get got by a Yawgmoth combo on turn 4. Could also play Dismembers to just kill Yawgmoth. I could also just, like, not fuck around with Karn, because Karn is slow. I could buy that. Like, play 2 Dismembers and the Pithing Needle outright. Just straight up have the Pithing Needle in the deck as an Urza Saga target, instead of a Karn Wish target. I think I like it. I have an Amulet. I don't actually have green mana here. Is that fine? Like, I have 2 Amulets, so as soon as I draw a bounce land, I just produce a Primeval Titan. How many outs for green sources am I at? Because that's a big deal here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18's not bad, but I think I'm just going to mulligan this one anyway. Better than mulliganing? Probably better than mulliganing. I just, like, naturally make some land drops here. I have the Urza Saga, which I'll probably play on turn 1 to start working towards finding an Amulet, and then I go ham if I find a bounce land. Hey, a bounce land. Very convenient for me. Don't know, like, what my opponent is going to have that I, like, super, super, super care about. That is a lot of Ignoble Hierarchs. EE would have been sick, apparently. Alright. So I go 2 mana, play an Explorer, pick up a Grazer, which is very good. Are you legendary? Oh shit, you're not legendary. You just get to play this. Play this. I guess I'll just tap, like, grab a tap. I'm a fetch breeding pool at some point here. Alright, the center is tapped. I'm gonna set a stop in my upkeep and fetch a forest out of my deck before I take my draw step. Okay, so something's coming here. Okay, it is a Yawgmoth. Don't think that is a problem for me. At least not yet, obviously. Could become one. Alright. I will float a mana. Do I straight up just want to Pithing Needle Yawgmoth so I can't randomly lose? Or do I want to, like, try to Primeval Titan win? Castle is 6, right? Castle is 6. I think I want to try to win. Alright, so there's an Amulet. I'll play a land. Play Simic Growth Chamber. Yield the Amulet. There's 4. I'll go ahead and use to do that. Since I have another bounce land in my hand, I think I just send a forest back up. So I use my 6 for Primeval Titan. Ah, okay. That's fair. I'm not going to get to untap these lands that I take, which means going for, like, the whole Sunhome thing is not exactly crazy. But what am I doing now? Do I just get, like, double Urza Saga and poop constructs everywhere? Or do I get, like, Urza Saga and Valakut in case I draw one of these Dryads? I think I'll grab double Urza Saga. Alright. A little awkward, I guess, if my opponent, like, draws a second Force of Vigor. But otherwise, it's a good way to get out of range of fair kills. Okay. So my opponent needs 2 Undying creatures in order to do a loop here, so they might try to, like, sacrifice some Ignoble Hierarchs in order to get to the point where they combo off. I guess, like, the first one on Undying Wolf is free, right? Like, just do that, put a counter on Primeval Titan, see where you end up. Ooh, okay, so it's a Chord of Calling. Okay, they're tapping one more creature here. I'm just eating a Grist right now. Yeah, okay. So, Grist sacrifices Young Wolf, which kills my Primeval Titan. Wasn't I just dead, though? Okay. So, okay. Alright. I thought I was just, like, straight up dead to my opponent comboing off there. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm misunderstanding something. Like, if they just Court of Calling for a Young Wolf, don't I die? I'm gonna be lazy about this, I think. Just make my constructs now. Play a land. Call it a turn. If I make it back to my turn, I just get to Pithing Needle Yawgmoth, and then I'm not scared of anything that my opponent has anymore. Oh, right. So the thing that actually got the kill last time around was the Blood Artist, because they can cycle the Young Wolf quite a bit. Okay. Alright, there's another land drop. Okay, that's an Eldritch Evolution. So that, yeah, okay. So now they kill Strangleroot Geist, put a counter on Young Wolf. And then they kill Young Wolf, put a counter on Strangleroot Geist. And then this process repeats, and I am dead. Alright. GG's. Alright, for round 3, I've gotten paired against a Lurrus deck. I assume this hand is a keep in one way or another. I think I just lead on Urza Saga to get the amulet into play as quickly as possible. Oh, okay, I don't need this upkeep stop on my turn. Alright, so let's do that. I think that's better than playing, like, Grazer into Simic Growth Chamber and having 3 mana on turn 2. I think. Not, like, 100% sure. Like, obviously I have 2 matches with this deck under my belt. Inquisition is not that big of a deal here. It can't take Primeval Titan. So I'm good with this. Another Summoner's Pact. Not the greatest, but it's okay. So I think this is just going to be land go here. Kind of plan on using the Grazer to kind of ramp ahead a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you can take a Summoner's Pact. I've got another. That's fine. I'm more scared of a Thoughtseize that takes the Primeval Titan. But then I'll still have a Summoner's Pact afterward. Okay, yep, alright. Okay. So I float my mana here. I pick up an Amulet. I'm unsure if I'm supposed to just, like, fetch a tap land and keep both of these in my hand, or if I'm supposed to just play this. I think I'm just gonna play this. I'm just gonna preemptively fetch out my tapped land. Well, I guess my tapped land, air quotes, is more like it. So by losing both of the summoner packs, I lost out on the opportunity to do something like go and fetch the Dryad, make a couple of extra land drops. Okay, that was Lurrus to hand. Okay, I mean, this potentially goes somewhere. So here's 2 mana. I'll explore. I get 2 land drops, so I can go Simic into Simic. That doesn't get me to 6. I think I need to just, like, go ahead and put one of these into play. Yield to my Amulet. I think I'm just going to bounce a Forest here. And then deploy a Forest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next turn I have 5, 6. I'll go ahead and play the Urza Saga. I already have the green that I need. So a Thoughtseize, an actual factual Thoughtseize, taking my Primeval Titan, leaves me in a pretty bad spot here. Yeah, I don't care about you drawing one more card with Bobble. That does not matter to me. Like, the damage is going to be done if this Primeval Titan gets into play, I think. Yep. You take your card. I'll make a sexy 6/6. I can actually just play Castle here, right? Castle just gets me to 6 immediately and keeps my Growth Chamber in hand. Yeah. Let's do that. There's 6 mana for the big boy. Yes. Big boy. We'll grab Boros Garrison and Slayer's Stronghold. We'll untap both of those. We'll make my Primeval Titan hasty. I'll just, like, bounce one of these lands back to hand. I'm not going to think too much about it. I will crash in for 8. No big deal. Yes, I'll use this ability. I could grab, like, a Teleria West and a bounce land and return the Teleria West to my hand. Or I could just, like, grab a pair of Urza Sagas. I'm just going to grab a pair of Urza Sagas. Like, if my Primeval Titan dies and I just have 3 different Urza Sagas that I can activate, I think I'm doing okay as far as life is concerned. Yeah, I mean, consider a way. Like, every mana you use on a cantrip is a mana that is not going to be dealing with this Primeval Titan. I guess, like, a Drown in the Lock sort of card can just, like, outright kill it. You get a few looks at that, but I am going to make just an absolutely massive set of construct tokens, and Modern does not have super great board wipes. Yeah, at least not in these colors. Take your card. Oh, I just drew a Primeval Titan. Okay. So these first 2 can resolve, and then I have to actually think. I'm just gonna float mana here. I don't actually want to think. I believe my opponent is just very dead. So there's 6 mana for creatures. I'll cast a Primeval Titan. I'll search for some lands. Grab, like, a Valakut and a Teleria West. Oh, I have to place these on the stack. Oh, okay, hold on. I need to turn off auto yields now. I need to let both of these untap. Or I think I did that wrong. Alright, so I missed out on a mana. I'll play a Slayer Stronghold. I'll activate that on this other Primeval Titan. I'll use some of this floating mana. Go and make an Urza Saga Construct token. Yeah, you can tap down a Primeval Titan. What about the other Primeval Titan? Oh. Okay, fair. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Like, I have so many incoming Urza Saga Construct tokens plus imminent death here. This Construct token will also just straight up be lethal next turn, I believe. I'm going to get 1, 2, yeah, 3. Yeah. I'm going to have 3 lethal permanents, and my opponent is out here trying to, like, twiddle me to death. I would not be hopeful if I was in their situation. Okay. Underworld Breach. Okay. Doing what? Like, where is this going? Yeah, okay. So, are we doing some sort of, like, what, the Lotus Land, and you, like, untap it with Twiddles? Yeah. I don't know what my opponent is doing well enough to know how to sideboard. Don't know that I care about their deck, just being honest. Seems like I have inevitability here. Probably board in this Bojuka Bog. Karns can stop bobbles. I don't think I care about that. Don't know if I actually need Graveyard Hate. Don't know if I actually need Force of Vigor for Underworld Breach. I don't know how my opponent's deck actually wins. I'm gonna take a moment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the time to do research properly. Like, I looked at a couple of deck lists. I didn't see one with Luris immediately. Board in this Bojuka Bog over something random like a Radiant Fountain, and call that good enough for this game. And then, like, I'll try to learn what my opponent is actually doing and go from there. Okay, what does my hand do? The Cavern on Beast, play a Grazer. Bounces the Cavern, gets a Growl Turf into play on 1. On turn 2, I replay the Cavern, and I end up having 5 mana. I think this hand is going to be a keep. It's a little weird. I can also kind of decide when to play Urza's Saga. Oh, my opponent is mulliganing into Absolute Oblivion. Finishing my thought, I can also just, like, decide when I want to start working on Amulet, because I can keep these Grazers until an Amulet turn if I need to. Alright, you've got an island, which just means that this is going to be something like a consider... Oh, an EE. Sure. Okay. Do I just go... Well, no, now that the EE is here, I probably just, like, make land drops normally, rather than try to play the Urza Saga ASAP. Alright. I put this on Beast. I do this thing. Use that and put in a Growl Turf. I'll bounce this Cavern. So I have ended up +1 mana, and I don't care about EE yet. And I can kind of try to repeat the same process next turn. I could also just, like, straight up play, like, Urza Saga, Cavern of Souls, or something like that. Just try to beat my opponent to death with constructs. Alright, so let's play a Grazer. I'll put an Urza Saga into play. This activates this. I'm not going to be able to activate 2 Urza Sagas next turn, so I'll just play, like, a breeding pool here. Alright, I have a lot of mana. And if my opponent, like, does not leave mana up for EE at certain times, they are just going to be in danger of dying to my bullshit. Oh, speaking of dying to my bullshit, this is just a Summoner's Pact turn, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Enough to pay for Summoner's Pact, even if it doesn't end up working out for me. Or I could just make, like, Saga tokens. Yeah, I don't know that I need to, like, play into a counter spell here, when in another turn I can just do a Primeval Titan uncounterably if I want to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, play this land this turn. I'm not sure how much I should just be, like, jamming it versus playing conservatively here. The Boros Garrison somewhat awkwardly is also in my hand. Alright. So I make a critter. Yeah, you twiddle and tap that down. That's fine. And I will just go ahead and make a construct using that floating mana. Oh, my opponent untapped it. Lol. Yeah, this is fine. I can just grab an expedition map rather than an amulet. Play a cavern. Put that on giant for the future. Hit in for 3. Opponent goes to 15. And if they go to crack their EE, I just, like, search with expedition map. And if they don't, this just continues to be an artifact in play that's buffing my shit. Yeah, do your cantrip and stuff. Like, this is just a situation where I have a lot of pressure on the game without really even doing anything special. I'm gonna just leave this in play. Okay, Dryad is gross. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and attempt my 6 damage first before anything else. Looks like it's working. Opponent goes to 8. I'm just gonna sandbag this. Play a castle. Cast a Summoner's Pact. Grab a Primeval Titan. Make a green mana ahead of time for this. Cast a Primeval Titan. It is uncounterable. Yes, I'll use this ability. I don't think it matters too much what I get. I'm gonna grab an Urza Saga to grow my constructs to lethal next turn, and a Bojuka Bog to just clear out my opponent's graveyard. I don't know how relevant their graveyard count is if they actually get going and start doing their thing, but I imagine that's plenty. Yeah, you can junk those things. I don't care about the map anymore with like how much I've got on board. Okay, yeah, and there's the concession for the match. I kind of wish I had gotten to see what my opponent's deck was doing, though. They just mulliganed into Oblivion. Okay, this is round 4. I can go Slayer Stronghold, Amulet, Castle, untap it, turn to Grazer, Valakut, and then I kind of stall out. I think this is okay, though, because assuming I draw lands and I have, what, 29 lands remaining in my deck and a handful of things that cantrip 4 lands, I think this is going to end up being okay. Again, I still don't have the best feel for, like, when do I mulligan versus when do I accept a hand that, like, has a lot of potential if I draw the right things. Like, I don't have natural instinctual heuristics for mulliganing with this deck. It's kind of like its own monster. Okay. Plains Esper Sentinel. Yep, okay, so we are playing against probably Hammer Time here. Ooh, oh, buddy, a bounce land. So let's just do a quick mana check. So if I play Girl Turf, I untap that, I go to 3, I play Grazer, I go down to 2, I play Grazer Turf again, I go up to 4. So I don't really want to do that yet. I'll do that next turn. Good Karn. Don't know that I need to. Yeah, so let's just go Castle, untap it, Grazer, play Valakut, untap it, and then next turn, I play Turf. Our opponent recognized me. Yeah, anyway, so next turn, I play Girl Turf, untap it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I need another green mana, don't I? To activate the castle. Okay, opponent played a land. I don't care about Esper Sentinel. Yeah, so next turn might just be a Karn turn instead of me doing something super degenerate. Okay, yep. And that's a little scary. Okay, this gives me my second green. Yeah, this gives me my second green. What do I have in the sideboard? Not a lot that super helps with this exact situation. Yeah, so I think next turn I'm just playing Girl Turf. I'll go ahead and do this. Guess I'm gonna grab Breeding Pool. No. But then untap it like that. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, Karn. I guess if I had paid the life, I could have not given my opponent cards here. Go ahead and minus this. Yes. I will grab the Ensnaring Bridge. A little awkward because I'm just like planning on playing Primeval Titan and brutalizing my opponent. But this may make my opponent's life more awkward. Although I guess if my opponent has multiple hammers, they can still attack with an Ornithopter and do some things. Alright, yep. Okay, so this gets them the hammer. So everything goes at me. Throw one of these in front of that. And then this Colossus Hammer is going to get attached to something else. Oh, geez, it was just 2 hammers. That'll work. Okay, a handful of Force of Vigors, probably fine. Foundation Breaker, probably fine. Dismember, probably fine. A lot of the rest of this stuff can probably hang out in the sideboard, although I could consider boarding in the EE. The question of, like, do I want the ability to tutor for that? I don't super know what I'm supposed to board out, because, like, the Karns are reasonable here. And that's kind of been my go-to thing to cut. I can probably cut an Azusa. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to cut. Would it be weird to not play the Karn when I'm on the play, and just on the play try to actually kill my opponent? And then when I have to be more reactive on the draw, play more cards? I could see that. Yeah, let's not play Karn on the play and play like 4-ish answers to artifacts, and then on the draw I can potentially play Karn as another way of interaction. But I think I just want to try to get my opponent dead rather than mess with what they're doing. I don't think I like this hand. I don't have any way to like accelerate to this Titan other than the castle, but that's still just turn 5 as of right now. I'm gonna go ahead and mulligan this. This hand is not impressive as is, but I think I have to keep it. Throw back a land here. My opponent has mulligan to 5 already. They might either be looking for some very specific hate cards, or more likely, they're trying to get a fast kill. And they're still tanking on this 5. They might not be keeping this one. Okay, they did keep the 5 ultimately. So I'll play an amulet and go from there. All right. So what is the damage? Okay, it's just a tutor for a hammer. I mean, just, you know. Oh, Sword of Sinew and Steel. Is that red black? Yeah, that's the red black one. All right, so I play an amulet. That means that I have 4 mana this turn. Okay. That doesn't do me any good. Go ahead and just play this. Actually, I guess with multiple amulets in play, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just held that. Because the fetch land actually nets me mana as long as I'm willing to pay some life for it. Okay, don't care about that. Don't care about that. Cool. Alright, so float some mana. Play a Girl Turf. Wait. Wait. I need to not be auto-yielding to this amulet. Ah! Okay. So I can't cast spells this turn. Fair. I just return my bounce land again and then repeat the process next turn. Yep. Okay. I mean, it's no time walk, but it was respectable. So Urza Saga is going to tick up for my opponent. Stoneforge is fine. Honestly, might just get something like a Cauldra, if that's in my opponent's deck. It was in some of the versions that I played. I've not seen Sword of Sinew and Steel before, though. Well, I mean, like, I've seen the card before. I have not seen that in a modern deck before, I don't think. I mean, it's kind of neat as a way to destroy my amulets, but I have a feeling it's not really for me. Oh, straight up cranial plating. Baller. Alright, so now my opponent's tapped out. I'll go Grolturf. Now I'm no longer yielding to these amulets. I make my mana. I untap. Make my mana. Bounce a forest to my hand. This is 6 mana. Primeval Titan. Yes, I'll use this ability. So I can go Castle plus green bounce land. That gets me to 6 with double amulet. Alright. Don't think the order for this super matters. I'll go untap. Yeah. This gets me to 6 for creatures. Untap this additionally. I guess I'll return a bounce land back to my hand. Now I'll Summoner's Pact. Grab a new Primeval Titan. Cast this Primeval Titan. Yes. With this Primeval Titan, I will grab Boros Garrison and Player's Stronghold. Opponent says, I'll let you show some of the stupidness of the deck to the viewers. Thank you. Alright, so I make this mana. I make this mana. I untap this. I turn one of these hasty. I untap this. I turn the other one hasty. And at this point, I'll bounce some land back to my hand. It can just be this. I will swing in for 16. Triggering both of these. So I'll say yes to these. Grab a Radiant Fountain. I'll grab a Valakut. Alright. The rest of these don't matter. I'm not using this mana in combat here. I'll gain my 2 life. The other one, I'll say yes to. I don't know. At this point, it doesn't super matter. I guess I'll grab a Teleria West that I can bounce back to my hand if I need it. And fuck it, an Urza Saga. That's a lot of stuff. My opponent goes to 4. They have to kill me from 21. And even through like a land destruction thing, I can still pay for the pact that I used. All right, nice. That was very silly. Okay, how do I feel about Karn on the draw? Previously, I was thinking about playing it on the draw as another way to like stop my opponent from equipping stuff. I wonder if it's too slow. Like I straight up wonder if this Karn is too slow. I want to play some more answers to creatures on the draw. It's so weird that I don't want this Karn versus the artifact deck. I think I just want to play some things that like eat my opponent's initial permanents instead. Ooh, yeah, I might have had a kill with the double strike land, actually. My opponent made a good point. Yeah, let's get these 3 permanents in here. Let's trim some stuff rather than cutting anything. Actually, maybe Explorer is just worse than Arboreal Grazer. Just like because of the velocity I need. Unsure. I don't know. Maybe this Expedition map is important for some of my Urza Saga based lines. Deck's hard. Well, this is an easy mulligan. Just absolute no mana sources here. Oh, wait, was the double strike land in my hand? If the double strike land was in my hand, I couldn't get a kill that way. There might have been kills where I used like a summoning pact or the Dryad. Try to kill my opponent with Valakut Titan instead. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of intricate lines. I'm using part of my brain power to learn this deck, part of my brain power to play this deck, and part of this brain power to like keep my mouth flapping. So can't figure it all out on the fly. Okay, my opponent tanked for a while and then kept the 7. I just have to mulligan. Where does this hand go? It's close to going a lot of places. Maybe on 6 that's acceptable. I'll like toss out this Radiant Fountain. Because like this Teleria West can just straight up get me a Summoner's Pact. And I can work towards just hard casting a Primeval Titan on 6 mana. Force of Vigor's not bad. Do I play the Arboreal Grazer? I think Arboreal Grazer is going to become Force of Vigor fodder. And I just, like, keep it as, like, so that I have the potential to play it. I think I'm just going to get this ticking up, work on getting my amulet. Oh god, that's so juicy. I think I just take that. Like, that's a sinkhole that I got to pitch cast. And it also just takes out another random card along the way. I'm good with it. I could try to get more value out of it, but I don't know that I do. Do I just bounce my Urza Saga here? I don't really want to lose lands yet, because I'm working towards getting towards 6 for hard casting. Although I guess this kind of helps with that. No, you know, I think I am going to bounce this Urza Saga. Maybe I don't. Wish I could make a construct with it. Oh, this is weird. I'm going to bounce it. I'm going to bounce it. And just, like, play a slower game here. Because, like, I have enough lands to get to where I want to go. I'm going to go ahead and Expedition map for another blue source, which I guess will just be Breeding Pool. I'll play that Breeding Pool tapped. So next turn, I can Teleria West for a Summoner's Pact, and then work towards activating the castle. Okay, I mean, that's a decent 1 mana draw 2 for my opponent. They don't have Metalcraft yet, so this is fine for me. Amulet. Transmute is sorcery only, right? Yeah. I will transmute. We'll grab a Summoner's Pact. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm good for next turn. As long as I play Castle here, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus Castle next turn. Now, Castle next turn is fine. We'll just go Urza Saga into Amulet. I guess my opponent can get me with a Silence next turn. Okay. This is going to be a hard hit. So that draws them 2 cards. They activate Inkmoth Nexus to get Metalcraft to crash in. Okay, or that works too. Yeah, I'm in... Oh no, I'm dead, aren't I? With that extra land drop, that just means that I take all of the damage to infect here. Ooh, yeah, that just kills me. GG's. Had a lot of different ways to play that one. Maybe I didn't go about that correctly. All right, we're 2-2, and I feel great about this deck. Like, I'm making mistakes, but this deck is extremely powerful. Okay, I've gotten paired against a Giganta deck. I have an amulet and ways to get extra land drops into play. I don't have a finisher, so I'm not exactly sure where that's ultimately going to leave me. But we'll find out. I guess I'll just play this. We'll do that. Do this thing. This lets me return that Radiant Fountain and potentially replay it at some point. Okay, so we are playing against some sort of Affinity or Hammer Time deck again. Black. Friendly from, okay. Into Signal Fest. Okay, yeah, so, oh, geez. This is like, just real straight up aggro shit right here. Okay. So, I play my Simic Growth Chamber. And tap it with the Amulet. I get 3 mana. I return this. I play an Azusa. Here's my first additional land drop. There's 2 mana. I bounce it. Here's my second additional land drop. Up to 4 mana. I bounce it. Out of land drops. I play a Dryad. Now I get 1 additional land drop here. I'll just make that a castle. Okay. That's my turn. I have Primeval Titan very, very, very easily next turn. And I also just have some blockers here. How bad is this last card for me? Oh, they're just cycling for a land. Sure. Yeah, I think I'm good. Treasure Vault, sure. Oh, yeah, really? Yeah, okay. I mean, I can't block that, but you also don't do any damage because Battle Cry is other creatures. All right. Yeah. This is land drop 1. I float my mana. I bounce this back. This is land drop 2. This gets me to 6 already. I'll bounce this back. I'll activate this. I will play Primeval Titan. Yes, I'll use this ability. I will grab Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold. Lets me do the whole haste shenanigans thing. Alright, Primeval Titan has haste. I'll, I guess, bounce this castle to my hand. At this point, I think I just play a couple of yeah. I play a couple of random lands. I get Valakut, and my opponent's dead. Okay. We are straight up playing against like an aggro affinity deck. I just need to make it to the end game. So stuff like this coming in is reasonable. Probably EE. This is super weird, but again, I don't think I want Karn versus the artifact deck. Like, Bridge is only going to be medium versus things like Cranial Plating. I just want to make it out of the early game and get to Primeval Titan mana. I think that means cutting Karn, Azusa. I gotta cut a couple lands. I want to play a good number of these cards. I don't know, maybe, like, Endurance has a big butt. It just gets in the way. And as we saw, like, my Dryad getting in the way was super relevant. Non-negotiable. I need these. And then the next tier down is this. So, of my remaining cards, what do I want / need? I think the Explorers can reasonably go for more interaction. I don't know, maybe Dismember's not great, like, it loses me life. Is the average creature from my opponent going to deal me 4 damage? No. -1, like, Cranial Plating gets involved. Maybe 5 pieces of interaction is plenty, and I keep some Explorers or play an Endurance or something. Let's try this. I think Dismember is better against, like, a threat like Ragavan, where, like, it's not just the creature turning sideways that you care about. And looks like a mulligan. Like, I can play a Radiant Fountain a couple of times, but I don't really have easy green mana to do Arboreal Grazer things. How about this second hand? This second hand has a Force of Vigor and a Foundation Breaker. I'll throw back one bounce land here. This is a little awkward, but I think I'll keep this. Throw back this one, maybe. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think I just take it. This is just so incredibly good here in terms of slowing my opponent down. Work towards Urza Saga immediately. No, I'm gonna bounce it anyway, in all likelihood. I'll just play Sun Home here. Might play Urza Saga next turn. This is just an artifact line, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got so much time from that Force of Vigor. I think that makes up for the fact that I have a slow start. Am I just gonna start making constructs? Yeah, sure, I'll just start making constructs. I'll just play an Urza Saga here. I'll use map to search up probably a green land of some kind. Okay, sure. My opponent's playing a bunch of artifact lands. Or I guess these ones are indestructible, aren't they? Yeah, they are. That's the upside they get for the downside of coming into play tapped. Blading, sure. With my opponent's artifact count that low, I'm not actually super worried about that. I want a comes into play untapped green land. I don't have another forest right now, so I think I will just straight up pick up a forest. Alright, I've picked up Teleria West. That's fine. Alright, so I'll go ahead and play this. We've got some good stuff going on. This is just slow. So Cranial Plating only buffs power, though, in good news. So I can just straight up trade with a Memnite. That's not a problem. Sure. So Memnite crashes in. I'll do this whole construct token thing. Totally fine with trading for that body. What do you have? Another cranial plating. Okay, I mean, creatures are going to hit hard. Very hard. Alright. Life's a tiny bit awkward. Hold on, did I board in Pithing Needle? I think Pithing Needle is still in my sideboard. I'll probably want that for next game, because if I were to shut off Cranial Plating or Urza Saga here, it would be very good. Alright, so I grab an amulet. I need to play a green land here. Do Simic Growth Chamber. To untap this land, bounce this Sun home. I've made my land drop for the turn. Now, essentially, I just need to find a payoff card. I'm not super good at getting to blue for Teleria West right now. But I'm not in any immediate danger of dying either. Like, I get to chump block this construct once. Yep, that's fine. The flyer is a little annoying, because that means that I don't get to just soak up all of the cranial plating damage anymore. I will get to kill that Ornithopter via Endurance, though. Unless I bounce my Simic Growth Chamber, I can't really transmute with this Teleria West effectively. I think I'm going to kind of main phase some stuff here. I think I'm just going to play this Endurance, junk my opponent's stuff here. I think I'll just get another one of these into play, bounce a forest to my hand, and just kind of chill here. Trample gets weird off Shadow Spear. Fetch land's pretty cool for me. Oh, a Ginger Brute. Sure. Okay. Need gas. Need gas. Ooh. Right, this has an unblockable thing. Can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. Sure. I'll just gain 7 life like that. That's fine. Not expecting to have to play around Ginger Brute. Alright. I feel dead. Just flooded out a little bit here. I haven't done the math, but I assume that since I can only block one of these, that I am stone cold dead. I thought junking my opponent's initial mana sources was going to set them back further than it actually ended up doing. Yeah. At this point, unblockable Ginger Brute alone kills me. So I will go ahead and concede. I'll go to the next game. Yeah, I don't know that I super want Dismember. Karn's weird, because, like, stopping the cranial platings from equipping is cool and all, but most of the other stuff Karn does isn't great. I might bring in the Pithing Needle so that I can have that as an Urza Saga target over something like Explore. It's also possible on the play I'm just like not supposed to play Endurance, and I'm supposed to just play another Explore, hit my land drops, and just like work on killing my opponent rather than being overly reactive. Hard to say. I don't know how I feel about these Karns. I think they're kind of weak. Okay, this is a turn 3 Dryad. This is fine. Turn 1 Castle, turn 2 Valakut, turn 3 Radiant Fountain, Dryad, put in Gruul Turf, bouncing Radiant Fountain. I will need to draw another green source in order to just deploy this Primeval Titan ASAP. I think I can keep this. It's a little awkward. I have a good number of draws that improve it. Boros Garrison already in hand is a little annoying, but kind of like C'est La Vie there. I guess I also could just play Gruul Turf on turn 2. That's a thing I can do. Okay, sure. Alright. I can also just Vesuva my castle this turn. That gives me another green source. Yeah, let's do that. But also Vesuva Urza Saga. I think I'm just winning this one on regular old land drops, though. I'm not expecting my opponent to have very much removal, and I already do have, like, Dryad plus Valakut for the not-too-distant future as well. Okay. Tapped land is great. Oh, that's very good. Alright, so I will play my Radiant Fountain. We'll yield to that. I will play my Dryad. I will play the Gruul Turf, bouncing the Radiant Fountain, and call it a turn. Next turn, I just play Radiant Fountain and Valakut. Then I play Primeval Titan, and I'm just good to go. I'm unsure why my opponent kept their opening hand. Like, they only mulled to 6, I believe. Like, they don't have the early creatures that they need. Yeah. Not scared of a Shadow Spear. Yep. Sure. Alright, are you gonna, like, go ham with Thoughtcast effects this turn? Was this... Nope. Yeah, okay, that's what you got going. I'll make my land drop. Play this Valakut. I'll go 4 mana to turn it into 6 mana for the Primeval Titan. I will use this ability, yes. This stuff's not going to enter untapped. I will pick up a Valakut and an Urza Saga. And an Urza Saga. I'll send 2 of these here if my opponent wants to throw away a Welding Jar to regenerate that. I'm good with it. If they don't, I'm also good with it. Possible all of this should have just gone to my opponent's dome. Okay, yeah, they're done with me. So I end up with a 3-2 in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I think the best way to say this is I think this archetype is quite good, but I am not sure that this build is quite optimal. This build doesn't fit in Cultivator Colossus, which I think is just bananas, and I think I sideboarded out the Karn in almost every round, even against 2 artifact decks. The way I was viewing Karn is I just thought it was too slow. Like, I can get my opponents dead so quickly if I just stay on plan and just keep making land drops and keep just churning towards the inevitable Primeval Titan. And I don't mind having Cultivator Colossus as additional copies of Primeval Titan that kind of work in a different way. I also don't know that it's worth it to take up this much of my sideboard. Like, I never won a game with a Wormcoil Engine. I never locked out an opponent with an Ensnaring Bridge. I like a couple of times I boarded in some of this stuff to look for it, but that's about it. I don't know how much this deck needs to sideboard, though. Like, generally speaking, it was hard for me to take out more than about 3 cards, so, like, maybe the Karn is giving you game 1 utility and flexibility, and then you just board it out every time. Unsure how I feel about that. Urza's Saga in this deck list was not particularly good at producing constructs, but it was very good at getting Amulet, which is incredibly important to, like, how this deck functions. I think this deck is incredibly difficult to play. I think the skill ceiling for this deck is very high. 100% would be willing to play this deck again, and I think I would get much better after a few leagues with this. Alright, if you made it this far in this video and you're not subscribed already, just saying, button down at the bottom, consider clicking it. And if you did make it this far and you're already subscribed, throw me a like. It's one of the easiest ways to support my content for free. Have a great rest of the day, folks. There's more information in the video description if you want the deck list or anything. See ya!